morning. Welcome to yoga with me, Evie. Thank you, YMCA, for hosting this class. It's going to be a good one. Go ahead and grab your mat if you haven't already, and we'll get started. This morning, I'm going to start us out with a little bit of breath work and meditation. So before you're ready to move, just take a seat and allow yourself to just come into your breath. Allow your shoulders to drop down your back and slowly and gently lift your spine up. So you're sitting up nice and tall. I'm going to let the crown of your head lift just a little bit, and then hands can fall wherever, in your lap or on your knees. So at this point, our minds start to wander, and I want to encourage you to just focus on your natural rhythm of breathing as you're sitting, maybe with your eyes open or your eyes closed. So let's take an inhale here. So just noticing your breath, noticing your thoughts, being aware of your body, your environment, smells, temperature of the room, sounds going on, maybe outside the room. From time to time, just check in to your present body to see how you're feeling. Go ahead and start to flutter your eyes open. Let's take a big breath in and reach up overhead. Drawing the palms together at heart center. And while we're right here, feel free to join me in 3 ohms. Take a deep breath. Take a big breath in, reach up overhead, and let's fold forward. And just start to move in your shoulders, torso. Might feel good to move all the way into tabletop here. Just start to wiggle through the hips, the belly, legs. Shake out your head. Feel free to move into some cat and cow. If you're noticing any tension in your forearms or wrists, it might feel good to play around with your palms and fingers here in this tabletop. Maybe placing the top of your hand, stretching that forearm. You can also point your fingers back towards your body. It's a little different, but it feels good. Go ahead and take one more breath through cat and cow. Or wherever you're at. Coming back to neutral spine, let's go ahead and move into downward dog. Curling your toes, pushing back into your hips. Pedal out your feet and move your hands if that feels better in your downward dog. So you want to make a capital V shape with your body. Your hips are the point, the tip of the V, and your hands and your feet are making contact with the ground. Let's go ahead and take a child's pose. Wide knees, narrow feet, arms reach overhead, and forehead comes down to the mat. Take a big breath in and let that go from your mouth. Let's take a final breath in. And exhale it out. Come back up to your tabletop. Bring your hands and knees just under those other joints and reach up with one hand, threading the needle. Let me remind you, you can do a little bit here with your posture, maybe by reaching behind you and pulling the shoulder down away from the ear. You can also step back either side. You go ahead and start to move back up into your tabletop position, reaching your hand back up to the ceiling. Opposite side. And start to make your way back up. This morning we're going to come all the way down to the belly. Drop down onto your mat. And then reach your hands back behind you. Start to roll a little bit side to side in your hips so you can get flat on the floor. And then bend your knees and just gently grab your heels or your pants or whatever is accessible. And we're going to pull in, stretching out the front of the thighs. So remember, you're just letting your chest and shoulders rest on the ground. Feel free to move a little bit. It's going to make your stretch a little bit more strong. Feel free to do one leg at a time. And then gently let your legs release down to the floor. Bring your big toes together. Tops of your feet rest. And then walk your hands to your lowest rib area. Look forward and start to press your chest up. You might need to slide your hands up a little bit, keeping the elbows close. Take a big breath as you lift up. And an exhale, coming back all the way down to the mat. So another option would be to come onto the forearms, pressing the chest up, lifting, breathing in and coming back down. It's a great way to get that back warmed up for our chaturangas. It's also a awesome chest opener. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and take a couple more. Another option would be to tense your fingers out and push up into your chest to lift, making sure you're not pinching or pulling anything in your back. Maybe you want to try all of those. Let's go ahead and finish up with one more. Lifting up, taking a big breath in. And exhaling, pushing back into child's pose. Let's go ahead and walk the hands to one side of the mat, pausing. Feel free to try that, reaching over to the opposite side. Let's go ahead and come back up to tabletop, moving into a downward facing dog. Walk your hands all the way up to your feet, coming into ragdoll. Go ahead and take a couple deep breaths in your fold, in your ragdoll. Let's go ahead and release the arms, coming up to stand. Reaching up overhead, taking a big breath here. Exhaling, forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Let's go ahead and roll up to stand again, reaching overhead. Take your time, make sure your knees are soft as you're rolling up. We're just going to stay here in this part of the sun salutation. We need some circulation into the spine. Feel free to roll up. Maybe you want to go a little faster, that's fine too. And we'll meet back up in a fold. Let's go ahead and step back to high plank. Low push up. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Take your right toes to the sky. Bend your knee and open the hip. And bring your foot back down to the mat. Without kicking anything, lift your left foot up, bend the knee, open the hip. Almost like you're going to flip over, but not quite yet. Let's go ahead and step back up to the hands, taking a halfway lift. Inhale. And fold, exhale. Inhale, roll up to stand. Put the hands overhead. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. And fold. Step back to your high plank. Move through your chaturanga. Let's go ahead and move through that sun salutation again. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Root and rise. Fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Step back to a high plank. Low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Nice work. And remember, this is your yoga practice. I'm here as a guide. This morning, I'm taking a little bit of a slower pace in this power yoga flow. So feel free to follow along or speed it up. Let's take the right toes to the sky. Draw knee to nose, stepping in, warrior one. Taking humble warrior. And releasing, moving through chaturanga or straight into downward dog. It's up to you. Left toes lift up. Step into warrior one. Humble warrior. Chaturanga or downward dog. Child's pose. Go ahead and press back into downward facing dog. Right toes lift up. Inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. Step in for warrior two. Reverse warrior. Side angle. Warrior two. Reverse warrior. Triangle. Warrior two. Reverse warrior. Chaturanga. Step up to your hands. Chair pose. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose. Fold. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose. Twist to your right. And twist to your left. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Left toes lift. Warrior two. Step in. Reverse warrior. Side angle. Inhale, warrior two.
Reverse warrior. Triangle. Inhale, warrior two. Reverse. Chaturanga, hands to the mat. My toes lift up. Step it in, warrior two. Reverse your warrior. Find your side angle again. And maybe extend here and just work on stretching out the side of your body. Good. Drop onto the back leg, lizard lunge, and then reach up, opening up that heart center. And while we're here, let's gently come down a little bit into this lizard lunge, dropping in, twisting, moving the hips. Let's maybe even get down into the forearms. Start to come back up. Let's go ahead into a forward fold. Step your back foot forward. Take your peace fingers around your big toes and fold. Just try a half lift in that arm and fold. Step back into your high plank. Low push-up. Upward facing, downward facing dog. Left side lifts up. Step into your warrior two. Reverse your warrior, find side angle. And extend a little bit here. Just take that top arm overhead, stretching from the side body. And then roll forward, bring your hands down to the mat, step your left foot a little wider, drop down into low lunge or lizard lunge, and then reach up. Coming back down into center, moving from your hip a little bit if that feels good. Up and come into a forward fold. This time, slide your hands under your feet. Just shake out your hips, straighten your legs, see what feels good. Might feel good to shake out your head. And then go ahead and move into your choice of any posture. I'm going to go for a wide squat. Actually, I'm going to go for a crow pose. So maybe you want to play around with your inversions. We'll meet up in child's pose in about a minute or so. or less. I think I said child's pose. I meant to say hero's pose. Go ahead and finish up wherever you're at. We'll meet up in hero's pose. Go ahead and relax the shoulders down the back. Tuck the tailbone. Sit back into the heels. Come back to that meditation seat. It should come pretty easily as you practice. Just dropping into your breath. Easily maybe closing your eyes. Just tuning into how your body feels. Let's take a couple deep breaths. In through the nose and out through the nose. And when you're ready, come up onto the knees, camel pose. Let's take the hands to the low back, gently pressing the hips forward, lifting from the heart, chin lifts. Let's take some deep breaths. Go ahead and come down when you're done. Let's go back up for camel pose. Nice work. We'll meet back up in hero's pose. Relaxing the shoulders. Taking in a couple deep breaths here. Let's go ahead and inhale one arm up overhead. Reaching, pushing that hip joint out. Getting a nice big side stretch. Inhale and opposite side. Inhale to lift up. Exhale. While we're here in hero's pose, we're just going to take a few moments to stretch from our neck and head and shoulders. I'm going to start by dropping the chin all the way down to the chest and then taking a big inhale, lifting the chin up towards the ceiling. With your exhale, dropping the chin. And with your inhale, lifting the chin. Maybe you want to start into full neck rotations. Just continue to use that breath to move. Coming back to chin, down towards the chest. Let's take the hands outside the legs and roll into the chest, tucking the belly, and then open it up, cow pose. Let's try a couple of these on.
when you're complete, we'll meet up in a seated staff pose. Let's go ahead and inhale to reach up overhead. Exhale to fold forward. Another inhale, reaching up. This time on your exhale, bring you back down to the mat. And rest your arms by your sides. Take a couple of deep breaths. Notice how your body feels here. Take an inhale and hug your right knee to your chest. On that exhale, extend your right leg long, and inhale, hug the left knee into the chest. And continue to move through these two. Go ahead and finish up on either side. And then stretch your legs long, reach your arms up overhead. Taking a full belly breath. Exhale. Let's inhale and hug knees to chest. Find a little bit of a circle or rock here in the low back. Really incorporate your breath in through the nose, out through the nose, or the mouth. It also feels really good to circle each knee, thinking about how that leg is attached to the hip, to the glute. Gives you a little bit of flexibility and freedom here. So maybe you want to focus one at a time. Another option would be to reach for your big toes into happy baby pose. This is another great way to stretch from those deep hip muscles in the front and back of the body. You feel free to rock side to side. Maybe you want to pause, stretch one leg out while you pull the other one in. Take this opportunity to play a little bit and just see how your body feels. And then release your feet, plant them down onto the mat. We're going to lift our hips up for bridge pose. Pushing into the heels, using the tops of the legs to work. Breathing deeply into your bridge pose. Make sure you're not dumping all your weight into your neck. Come down whenever you're ready. Shaking your knees outside to side, or perhaps hugging your knees to your chest to release any muscle buildup, muscle tension, low back tension. Be easy here. Sometimes it feels really good post-bridge to just hold a knee drop. Maybe you try it out today. Let's go ahead and get back into bridge pose, walking the heels under the knees, pushing into your legs to lift your hips up. Let's grab for the fingers behind the back. Maybe even take a deep roll onto the shoulders here. And let's go ahead and come down. Hugging knees to chest this time. Rock all the way to one side. And then rock all the way to the other side. You can even let your forehead come down onto the floor. Let's go ahead and come back into center. Hugging knees to chest. Let's rock forward and back a couple times. Come all the way up. I want you to place your feet wide here on the mat, even wider than the mat if you'd like. And then drop your knees off to one side and look back behind you. So twisting that torso, you can come all the way down onto the forearms. And breathe. Come back up. And drop your knees to the opposite side. So you want your knees to stay really wide. Coming down onto the forearms, taking a couple deep breaths. Coming back up. And this time, simply letting your knees drop over side to side. So this really helps release tension in the front of the hip and the low belly. It can also be a really nice stretch for that inner part of the thigh, dropping down, twisting into the hip. Okay, and then we're going to roll back over all the way to hands and knees, moving into downward facing dog. Let's go ahead and pedal off the feet a little bit here. Downward dog. Coming up onto the tippy toes, even if that feels good. Let's go ahead and take the right toes to the sky. Bend the knee, flip the dog. And coming back into your downward dog. Opposite side, up dog. Roll out to high plank and take side plank. One hand to the center of the mat while the opposite arm lifts. Come back to your high plank, move through your chaturanga. Roll out again to high plank. Take opposite side plank. Beautiful. Chaturanga. Ooh. Downward facing dog. We're going to move into half pigeon with one foot up. Bring the knee in towards the nose. Shin towards the top of your mat. Settle in. Maybe you want to grab a drink here. I'm going to be here for a little bit, so just be comfortable. Maybe you need to shift around to settle in. That's okay. Just like in our meditation seat, we're here not only to focus on this stretch, but also to focus on our breathing and staying present to any emotions, any sensations that come forward from this. Remember, yoga isn't about looking perfect or being perfect. It's about practicing. So consider this one of those really important practices. Releasing toxins, releasing emotions. Our hips store a lot. I'm going to talk a little bit less and focus on my breath. Feel free to join me. Challenge yourself to stay where you are. Let's inhale deeply here. And gently start to move around, taking some deep breaths, moving to your opposite side. Coming back into your breath, noticing maybe differences or similarities in this pigeon pose. Noticing how your body feels and just resting in this posture. Once again, giving yourself permission to stay. go ahead and start to press up. Let's swing the back leg around. Double pigeon. So that top leg is going to come over. Go ahead and extend the top leg, seated tree pose. Double pigeon, that top leg is now on the bottom. You want your ankles and knees to line up as best as you can. Option to reach up and fold forward or just stay where you are. And then go ahead and extend your top leg, seated tree pose. And as you come up, bring the soles of your feet together for butterfly. Tall, breathe in and breathe out. Let's go ahead and make our way onto our backs. Just allow yourself to take up space. Connecting to your breath. Palms turn towards the sky. Feet out, relax, away from the center of your body. Join in with me here for our last practice of meditation. Taking some deep breaths, allowing your body to settle into Savasana, final rest. Surrender to being still for a few moments. Even if you think you're missing out, you're not. As your mind starts to wander, because it will, take a deep breath to bring your focus back to present moment. Maybe you want to play some music, maybe tuning into my music, something to help you stay present to the room. Allow the lines in your face to soften. Start to wiggle fingers and toes. Start to bring some bigger motion into your body. When you're ready, roll to your side for infant's pose. Take a moment of gratitude for showing up. Know that you can drop whatever no longer serves you. Letting it down here on the mat. When you're ready, press yourself up to seated. Take a deep breath. On your next inhale, reach your hands up overhead. On your exhale, pull your palms together at heart center. Join me in closing our practice. 3 final breath Press your thumb knuckles to your heart center, lighting the honors, delighting you. Thank you for sharing your practice with me this morning. May you go in peace. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. My name is Evie, and on behalf of the York County YMCA, thank you for joining me in this Power Yoga class. Until next time, be well.